Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the movie Beetlejuice Beetlejuice on HBO. And I really did not like this movie. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the original one, even all the way through, but I was like, what the hell, let's kind of see what's going on here. We've got Winona Ryder as Lydia, we've got Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, we have Lydia's daughter. Let's see kind of how this kind of works out. And I had some weird issues even trying to watch this one, because when I was on demanding it, there was like I'm glad that they had like an American Sign Language thing, but I didn't pick any option for it, and I had to keep like mucking about with it to even get that kind of off, and I'm like, I don't even know how I did it. So that was not a good one off the bat. But then we actually get into the meat of the movie, and there's just so many different kind of plots going around that they aren't interwoven organically. We've got Lydia and her fiance, boyfriend, Rory. We've got her daughter, Astrid, who's got issues with her. We've got Delia, her stepmother, and everything kind of going on with that. And we've got Beetlejuice doing his kind of stick that then intersects with his ex-wife. There's just so much going on that it looked like they had all these different kind of ideas for this movie to begin with, and then just decided to throw it all together. My biggest kind of complaint that I could pretty much level at this is pretty much what I could had leveled at Thor: Love and Thunder, where they just let the director do whatever the fuck they wanted, and its mileage did not work for me. Now, if you're a big Tim Burton fan, go for it. It's great. You'll probably love it. I am not that big of a Tim Burton fan, but like, he needed to be reined in and be like, all right, pick what you want to do. We get some kind of gross out kind of stuff, which is like, I didn't really kind of care that much. Oh god, and Astrid's got her own kind of thing with this kind of ghost boy that just, it's on their own, they aren't horrible, but when they're put together with all these things going on at once, it lessens all of them story-wise to where they're like an inch deep, and it's not working right. So we find out that Lydia has pretty much got this kind of ghost show that she does, Ghost House. We see that she's estranged from her daughter because Astrid's father died in the Amazon, and they never found his body, and they don't know what's kind of going on, pretty much leading Astrid to believe that Lydia is a fraud because she could see all these other ghosts, but she can't see the father. We understand why that kind of happens on as the movie progresses. But we see that she's pretty much going along, kind of trying to help these people out, but this Rory dude is just a mile away, just leeching off of her ass. Like, she's got some kind of medication or whatnot, and Rory's like, no, that'll fuck up your gift or whatnot. We need that kind of shit. It's like, oh god, it's just using her, and we don't really delve in too much. He's just a user. That's about it. We don't get any kind of motivations other than that, except later on when he gets dosed with a truth thing, and he just pretty much uses people. That's fine. I don't mind that explanation, but we've got all these plot things juggling. I was like, fine, whatever. And then we see that Lydia gets contacted by Delia, who is some strange-ass avant-garde artist kind of person, and that we found out that Charles is dead. I almost feel really bad for the actor because they decided to kill him in a shark attack kind of thing. Well, first you have to go through the whole kind of spiel of, he was in a plane and he was going off for like bird watching, and then the plane went down. But he survived the plane crash, but then he got eaten by a shark. And the thing is, we see him lose his head. We see him going through death's kind of bit. We get a cameo of Danny DeVito being a cleaning dude. We see this other dude die to kind of get reacclimated to the whole dead kind of universe. And he's just going around cleaning shit, and then accidentally pretty much unleashes Beetlejuice's ex-wife, Dolores. Dolores? They really barely use her that much. Yeah, Dolores. And it's just the worst kind of aspects of like, oh yeah, I really want to use this kind of music for this scene. And we just see her just stitching herself back together, and she can suck souls out, and that deads people. It's like, okay, so Danny DeVito's out, boom, done. Nothing really much done with it. I don't mind cameos, but make them worth something at least. And we see that she pretty much just goes around, she sucks this other dude's soul out because Charles got put in, and he's just kind of going through the whole kind of process. And then we see that William Dafoe is in here as an actor who's pretty much pretending to be a cop. He got blown up by a grenade, and he just does wacky shit. I thought he was better utilized in John Wick than in here. Now, does Willem Dafoe seem like he's having a good time with it? Sure, but it really doesn't add much to the plot, and it really doesn't add much to the character other than being used as a joke for someone to bring him coffee and then toss the coffee away, trying to figure out what's kind of going on with Dolores, but they don't do anything with Dolores. She's essentially the Terminator in the background, pretty much propelling Beetlejuice forward to try and get married to Lydia faster, but he'd already had the impetus to marry Lydia anyway, to kind of get out of the death realm anyway, so I don't know why it was here. And they really don't... She just... let's see. The actress. She's from The Matrix. Let me see my title. Monica Bellucci. She really says nothing other than pretty much to try and find Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice learns that she's out. We get this whole spiel that he was a grave robber. She pretty much comes in. They decide to get married. And she's like an occultist who kills people and steals their soul for pretty much immortality. And that before Beetlejuice pretty much died, he chopped her ass up, and that's how she was in the Dead Realm. We also get a whole Soul Train thing that I think is kind of overplayed. I mean, sure, you got a Soul Train. You do that. You execute on that, and I'm fine with that. But it kind of goes almost into Integrity Farm levels kind of thing of like, I kind of get it. Can we kind of move on here? So Charles is wandering around showing us that everything's kind of fucked up. Lydia and Delia go and get Astrid out of her school. Everybody pretty much fucks with her because she's the creepy one, but she's trying to like do stuff with climate change and everything like that, trying to kind of take up the standard for her father. And they're like, alright, fine, let's kind of do this. Delia puts a fucking morning shroud on the house, makes it just really kind of nutty and gnarly. She eventually tries to do this kind of fangless asp dance thing, like a pharaoh thing for Charles, but finds out, oh, they still have fangs, and she fucking gets killed. And it's like, okay, and her and Charles take the Soul Train to pretty much go to the afterlife. So, alright, cool. But before we kind of get to that, we see that they're doing the morning stuff. We got the people being kind of gnarly in the surrounding area. Rory pretty much tries to make it about himself and does this whole kind of thing. Oh, let's get married on Halloween, Lydia. And she's like, all right. And I don't really fault any of the actors. The content that they're giving with, they're not really given much to work with. They're constantly kind of juggling between different kind of stuff. Lydia actually kind of connecting with Delia of having like a hard kind of child to kind of connect with and everything, especially since Astrid kind of probably blames Lydia for the split of the parents, and then the father being dead and her being unable to communicate with him, even though she has these kind of occult powers. But we do get an explanation for that later on, which kind of sucks. So she kind of is like, fuck this kind of wedding thing, goes on a bike and gets crashed in through this one thing, crashes in a tree, meets the boy dude. He's like, oh yeah, your mom's Lydia Dietz and all that kind of shit. Alright, cool. She's like, I gotta go deal with this, I'll be back. And they make plans to pretty much hand out candy and shit like that. So she comes back, she doesn't notice anything kind of wrong, at least first in the house, and she's hanging out, and Lydia pretty much drops her off for the first date kind of thing. But guess what? He's a murderer! Lydia pretty much learns this from the realtor person who actually has been trying to sell that house, and it kind of fucks up her perfect record as they're pretty much selling the ghost house. Beetlejuice is pretty much attempting to stay away from Dolores, killing him, putting Bob as kind of a doppelganger for himself, which Dolores eventually kills him at a certain point. Yeah, so she gets there and we find out that the dude's trying to get back to being alive, and he's actually murdered his parents instead of pretty much saying, like, oh my God, can you not see this a mile away? It's just and how it's executed. I don't mind if I can see it a mile away, if it's interesting and gripping and I get drawn in with the characters. Here, I'm just like, okay, this is kind of similar to what I'm kind of feeling with what was kind of tread around with Beetlejuice 1. And Beetlejuice 1 did it better. So she then goes in there. Lydia tries to get to her but is unable to, and decides to pretty much get Beetlejuice to help her out. We have seen that Beetlejuice is roaming around and was fucking around with Lydia and Rory, doing a whole gag about like a baby Beetlejuice and guts and shit like that. And the thing is, it's just basic kind of stuff. Like, if you've not seen Beetlejuice 1 before, sure, it would be interesting and kind of like, oh, okay, I'm glad that they're doing practical effects. The use of CGI is not really that bad or anything. But the thing is, to probably get the best enjoyment out of this, you would have to have seen Beetlejuice 1. And if you'd seen Beetlejuice 1, you'd probably see that it is a stronger movie because you see everything going on. You get introduced to the couple that dies and then tries to figure out what's kind of going on with their lives in the afterlife. Then you get introduced to Lydia, who can see and try and help them out. And of course, Beetlejuice trying to scare and is like a bioexorcist trying to expel humans from the whole thing. It was a very interesting kind of setup. Here, it's just all thrown together and just like, let's just fucking do this shit. Like, okay, whatever. And it just doesn't work. Like, if the movie had focused on any of these one kind of plots and really kind of teased them out and did a better job of interweaving any kind of other aspects of the other stories, it would have worked far better than just thunder fucking throwing everything you can at the wall and just seeing what you can do in the time frame allotted, because it's like 100-some minutes, and I'm just like, alright. So Lydia's in the afterlife, and we learned that he's pretty much she's signed her life away for his, but they've got to go through all this kind of stuff. First, Lydia has decided to sign a contract with Beetlejuice that she'll marry him if he takes her into the afterlife. They go around, they putz around and are able to find Lydia, and then they run into the father because he's just working there for some reason. Like, he got eaten by fish or whatnot, like piranha, and he's just working there. It's like, okay, why wouldn't anybody... Like, Lydia could have... Oh, excuse me. Pardon me for the yawn. Lydia could have explained this to kind of Astrid of, like, there's weird shit in the afterlife. Some people could just be stuck in this weird kind of limbo fucking place, so that could be a reason why I can't see her father. Another reason could be she could have had a block because of her emotions and everything tied with her father. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different kind of things. We do get that they stop the asshole Beetlejuice actually is involved and pretty much sends him into a hell damnation kind of place. We get some kind of weird fucking priest kind of dude who's one of the Night Watch that went fucking nutty at Craster's Keep. Also in Pacific Rim. I don't know why the fuck he's kind of in here. He just does some weird kind of shit. We also get an escape in that when Beetlejuice and Lydia pop into the world, they leave a door wide open, and then all these shrunken head motherfuckers are like in the real world. We never get any kind of closure on that. It's like, that'd be an issue there. So they do that, and then Beetlejuice, Lydia, and the rest, and Astrid have a nice kind of conversation with the father, saying you should really just get through this stuff together. You shouldn't be fighting like this, and then puts them back into the world. They also see that Delia has died and understand that whole kind of effect. And then they pretty much get to this kind of church for the wedding, and Rory's gotten all these influencers. Beetlejuice pops up and pretty much has them all sucked into phones, when he could have just, like, he could have done one thing to, like, be like, you know what, motherfuckers, get the fuck out. Like, they don't even get that kind of grace or whatnot. He just goes and has them sucked into the phones, where it seemed like more that the director was trying to say something about phones and influencers rather than what's kind of going on. Beetlejuice, he has a dickhead and a motherfucker, but it was more like, I want to do this, and then walking it back from there. It's like, alright, cool. And then we get this, like, extended, like, sing-along kind of scene. And I just didn't give a fucking shit. He's able to control Astrid, Delia, Rory, as they're doing this kind of stuff, and they're getting ready to pretty much get married and all that, but, Willem Dafoe's character pops up. They get kind of frozen. Dolores pops up, but they're able to kind of kick her ass and kill her. Well, let me see. We also do get that Astrid and Lydia are, like, apologizing and everything. Oh, yeah, that's right. Astrid is able to pretty much get the sandworm to, like, eat, Dolores and Rory, that, Beetlejuice was able to kind of, like, let that go on. Of course, Astrid reveals, that the marriage is null and void because Beetlejuice was helping her in an illegal, activity with the Netherworld. So Willem Dafoe's character kind of like brings everybody back there, thanks them. You see the whole Soul Train kind of thing with Charles and Delia, and Lydia stops doing the kind of ghost house, and we think that she might actually go and live a nice kind of life with Astrid, since she pretty much got rich off that. Then we get our kind of freak out moment where we see this whole kind of thing that Beetlejuice is still haunting Lydia, where we see that Astrid gets married to this dude and has like a Beetlejuice baby that does some crazy ass shit. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't mind the Beetlejuice baby, but it's just doing stuff that I've seen before and other kind of things. And see, that's kind of a weird thing that I kind of have to have as a reviewer. Is it bad, or is it just to the point that I've seen so much stuff that I'm like, okay, you're not doing anything kind of different to kind of like bring me in and have me be like, you know what, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm like, okay, other people have done this kind of stuff. You see this in kind of like JRPGs and other kind of books and whatnot. You're like, okay, something already did this before, and I like that better than this. It doesn't mean that this is necessarily bad, but you'd have a better shot of liking it if this is your first thing and the first time you're experiencing this, rather than like your umpteenth time. So that does have to be taken into account. Though, truly, if Beetlejuice 2 is your first shot into Beetlejuice, you're in for a better treat when you go back to Beetlejuice 1, which I know sounds really fucking stupid, but that sometimes is what's going to happen. Sometimes people will be brought into franchises through sequels, and then explore different kind of ones that they might like better, or they might hate more. You never kind of know with that kind of effect. You kind of have that kind of stuff with the prequel trilogies for Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, I grew up with them. No, I preferred the original ones. Because I'm like, what is kind of going on here? I still like aspects of the prequel trilogies, but oh my god, they have problems that are inherent to what kind of goes on with what George Lucas was attempting to accomplish with those. Then the sequel trilogy, oh boy. But see, that's the thing. Sometimes different and newer iterations are going to be people's gateways into certain kind of things. And that's kind of a thing that I want to kind of bring up here and explain, in that, yeah, if this is where you're kind of getting in to Beetlejuice, know that it's kind of odd that it has this many kind of plots and everything kind of going on at once, and that they're not as fleshed out as they could be. And I'm not trying to say that I've got like ADHD and I can't focus on every different kind of thing that's kind of going on. It's like, I understand everything that's kind of going on. It is just not connected in a way that really interests me. It's like, alright, I'd really rather have this aspect focused on or this aspect focused on. It just did not fit with me whatsoever, and I'd heard a lot of good things about this, and I'm like, okay, it just happens. Like, I'll check certain kind of things out that people say are cool or they had a fun time with, and if I don't like it, that's fine. If you like this, that's awesome. Never part of my reviews is not that I'm here to shit on anybody's enjoyment or parade or say that you're wrong for liking something. Never. That is not my intent and not my objective. I fucking hate that kind of fucking bullshit, and it can go fuck off and die. I'm just saying that I really didn't enjoy this. And if you enjoyed it, you just fucking forget it. Like, don't even pay me any mind on that. Don't, just be like, oh, okay, you didn't like it, but I really liked it. Go and enjoy it. Just forget about me. Just, that is the best vengeance. Just go away. And I'm like, yeah, alright, cool. It just, I like Michael Keaton. I like Winona Ryder. I like Tim Burton. I really wanted to like this and see kind of the crazy kind of shit that could go on, and it just didn't fit for me. And that's disappointing, but it happens sometimes with things. So, those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.